Here are some key Golden Age celebrities who were blacklisted during the Red Scare, often for hidden or surprising reasons. Charlie Chaplin and the Hollywood Blacklist. During Hollywood's Golden Age, Charlie Chaplin was one of its most iconic figures, yet he became a surprising casualty of the Hollywood Blacklist. Though never a member of the Communist Party, Chaplin was denounced by the FBI as a parlor Bolshevik due to his outspoken left-leaning political views, criticism of capitalism, and support for labor movements and Soviet-American cooperation during World War II. His social activism and public speeches attracted intense scrutiny during the Red Scare, when anti-communist paranoia swept through America. In 1952, while promoting his film Limelight in London, Chaplin was denied re-entry into the United States by the U.S. Attorney General, who claimed his moral character was questionable and cited vague allegations of communist sympathies. Rather than fight the decision, Chaplin chose self-exile in Switzerland, where he lived for the rest of his life. His expulsion wasn't based on any formal charges, only suspicion, political pressure, and public fear. Chaplin's story reflects the dangers of guilt by association and ideological conformity in mid-century America. Though eventually honored by the film industry later in life, his forced exile stands as a symbol of how the blacklist punished not just alleged communists, but those who dared to challenge the status quo. Orson Welles and the Hollywood Blacklist. Orson Welles, one of Hollywood's most innovative filmmakers, found himself quietly blacklisted during the Red Scare despite never being formally accused of communism. Best known for Citizen Kane, 1941, Welles earned early fame for his fearless artistic voice and criticism of American power structures. His political activism, supporting civil rights, union causes, and leftist organizations, put him on the FBI's radar. J. Edgar Hoover labeled him a potential subversive, and a detailed FBI file was compiled on Welles. Though never officially cited by the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, Welles's reputation suffered. Studios became hesitant to hire him, and he increasingly struggled to find funding in the U.S. Some sources suggest his portrayal of media tycoon William Randolph Hearst in Citizen Kane, widely interpreted as a takedown of capitalist influence, deepened suspicions. Amid growing political pressure and a cooling reception in Hollywood, Welles left the United States in the late 1940s and spent much of his remaining career in self-imposed exile in Europe. His experience reflects a subtler form of blacklisting, one not always enforced by public hearings, but by fear, suspicion, and silent exclusion. Despite his exile, Welles continued making films abroad, though often with limited resources, forever marked by Hollywood's political climate. Marsha Hunt, blacklisted in Hollywood's Golden Age. Marsha Hunt was a prominent actress in the 1930s and 1940s, known for her versatility and screen presence. At the height of her career, she was among Hollywood's most promising stars, appearing in over 50 films by her mid-30s. However, her flourishing career took a sharp downturn during the McCarthy-era Hollywood blacklist. Hunt's troubles began not because of her performances, but due to her political activism. In 1947, she joined a group of actors, including Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, who traveled to Washington, D.C., to protest the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, and its interrogation of alleged communist sympathizers. She also participated in international peace conferences, including one in Stockholm, which further fueled suspicions about her political leanings. As a result, Hunt's name appeared in Red Channels, a publication that identified supposed subversives in the entertainment industry. Though never officially charged or convicted of anything, she was informally blacklisted. Studio offers stopped coming, and she appeared in only 8 films over the next 45 years. Despite the unofficial ban, Marsha Hunt remained active in social causes throughout her life. She later reflected on the blacklist as a tragic period of fear and injustice in American history. Carl Foreman and the blacklisting behind High Noon. Carl Foreman was a talented screenwriter and producer best known for writing the classic 1952 Western High Noon. However, beyond its gripping story of a lone marshal standing up against danger, the film is also an allegory for the Hollywood blacklist era. Foreman used the narrative to criticize the cowardice and fear that permeated the entertainment industry during the McCarthy-era anti-communist witch hunts. Foreman himself became a victim of the blacklist shortly after High Noon was released. Having been involved with the Communist Party in his earlier years, he was called to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC. Like many others, he faced intense pressure to name alleged communist sympathizers, but Foreman refused to fully cooperate. This stance led to his being blacklisted by Hollywood studios, effectively ending his career in the United States. As a result, Foreman relocated to England, where he continued writing and producing films. His blacklisting not only disrupted his personal and professional life but also became a symbol of the broader impact of political paranoia on creative freedom during that era. High Noon remains a powerful reminder of courage in the face of societal fear and repression. Lena Horn, a trailblazing star blacklisted for her outspoken activism. Lena Horn was one of the most celebrated African American entertainers of Hollywood's golden age. Known for her stunning voice, elegance, and charisma, she broke racial barriers as a singer, actress, and civil rights activist. Despite her success, Horn faced significant challenges due to her outspoken stance on civil rights and equality. During the McCarthy-era Red Scare, Lena Horn's name appeared in Red Channels, a publication that identified supposed communist sympathizers in the entertainment industry. Though Horn was primarily targeted for her activism and support for civil rights rather than any proven communist ties, this blacklisting severely limited her opportunities in film and television. Major studios and networks avoided working with her to avoid controversy. In response, Horn shifted her focus to nightclub performances, where she continued to shine and maintain her career. She also became involved in rehabilitation campaigns and civil rights causes, using her platform to fight for social justice. By the late 1950s, she gradually returned to television and film, reclaiming her place in entertainment. Lena Horn's experience highlights how the blacklist not only silenced political dissent but also intersected with issues of race and social activism, making her resilience all the more remarkable. Jules Dawson, blacklisted director of Hollywood's golden age. Jules Dawson was a talented American film director known for his work in film noir and socially conscious cinema during Hollywood's golden age. Although he was never part of the infamous Hollywood 10, a group of filmmakers and writers who openly resisted WAC, Dawson became a target of the anti-communist blacklist due to his associations and political beliefs. Dawson was linked to several Communist Front organizations, which led to his being named by witnesses during hearings before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC. Despite denying any Communist Party membership, the stigma attached to his name was enough to destroy his career in the U.S. film industry. Studios stopped hiring him, and he found himself effectively barred from working in Hollywood. Forced to leave America, Dawson moved to Europe, where he rebuilt his career with critical success. He directed some of his most acclaimed films abroad, including Rafifi, 1955, a classic heist film that remains influential in cinema history. Though blacklisted, Dawson's resilience and artistry helped him continue working and left a lasting legacy beyond the confines of the blacklist. His story exemplifies how political fear and suspicion during the Red Scare curtailed many careers, while some artists persevered despite immense obstacles. Alen McMahon, talented actress silenced by the blacklist. Alen McMahon was a respected character actress in Hollywood's golden age, known for her versatility and warm screen presence. Throughout the 1930s and 40s, she appeared in numerous films, earning praise for her performances in movies like Dragon Seed and The Bishop's Wife. Despite her success, McMahon's career was severely impacted by the political climate of the 1950s. Though she was never officially called to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, McMahon was named in Red Channels, a notorious publication that listed alleged communist sympathizers and activists in the entertainment industry. Her involvement in left-leaning causes and labor unions made her a target during the anti-communist hysteria that swept Hollywood. As a result, McMahon faced an unofficial blacklist that limited her roles and pushed her away from major film projects. While some blacklisted artists fled to theater or television, McMahon's appearances became infrequent, and her once thriving film career gradually faded during the 1950s and 60s. Despite these challenges, Alen McMahon remained dedicated to her craft and quietly continued acting until her later years. Her story highlights the subtle but damaging effects of the blacklist on many talented artists who never publicly resisted whack but still suffered its consequences. Mie Christians, a talented actress silenced by the Hollywood blacklist. Mie Christians was a distinguished actress who made her mark on both stage and screen during Hollywood's golden age. Born in Austria, she had a successful career in European theater before moving to the United States, where she appeared in films and on Broadway. Christians was known for her strong, nuanced performances and was respected among her peers. However, during the late 1940s and early 1950s, Christians became a victim of the Hollywood blacklist. Though she was never formally subpoenaed by the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, her political activism and involvement with left-leaning causes drew suspicion. She was named in Red Channels, a publication that listed supposed communist sympathizers, which led to her being unofficially blacklisted. This blacklist effectively ended her career in Hollywood. She found it difficult to secure film roles and was largely excluded from television opportunities as well. Christians returned more to the stage but struggled with the stigma attached to her name during a time when fear and paranoia dominated the industry. Mie Christians' experience illustrates how the blacklist extended beyond those who openly defied whack, ensnaring many artists whose only crime was advocating for social justice or holding progressive beliefs. John Garfield, Hollywood star destroyed by the blacklist. John Garfield was one of Hollywood's most promising actors in the 1930s and 1940s, known for his gritty, naturalistic performances in films like The Postman Always Rings Twice and Body and Soul. He was admired for bringing a new intensity and realism to the screen, often playing complex, working-class characters. However, Garfield's outspoken political views and involvement in liberal causes made him a target during the Red Scare. In the late 1940s, the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, investigated Hollywood for communist influence, and Garfield was called to testify. Refusing to name names or implicate others, he maintained his principles but faced severe consequences. His name appeared in Red Channels, a publication that listed alleged communist sympathizers, leading to an unofficial blacklist. Studios stopped offering him work, and his once bright career began to falter. The stress of the blacklisting and the pressure from the investigations took a toll on Garfield's health and spirit. Tragically, Garfield died in 1952 at the young age of 39, reportedly from a heart attack exacerbated by the strain of the blacklist ordeal. His story remains a powerful example of how fear and political persecution devastated talented artists during Hollywood's darkest era. Dorothy Parker, wit silenced by the Hollywood blacklist. Dorothy Parker was a celebrated writer, poet, and screenwriter known for her sharp wit, satirical voice, and keen insight into human nature. A founding member of the Algonquin Round Table, she gained fame for her poetry and short stories, as well as her Hollywood screenwriting during the 1930s and 1940s. Despite her success, Parker's career was deeply affected by the political climate of the late 1940s and 1950s. She was outspoken about social justice issues and associated with left-wing political causes, which led to her being suspected of communist sympathies during the McCarthy-era Red Scare. Although she was never formally called to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, Parker's name appeared in Red Channels, a blacklist publication naming alleged communist sympathizers in the entertainment industry. As a result, Hollywood largely shut its doors to her. Parker's screenwriting opportunities dried up, and she found herself increasingly marginalized in the industry she once thrived in. Despite these challenges, she continued to write and remained a respected literary figure. Dorothy Parker's experience highlights how the blacklist suppressed not only actors and directors but also talented writers whose progressive views and activism made them targets during a fraught era of American history. Humphrey Bogart, Hollywood star who stood against the blacklist. Humphrey Bogart was one of Hollywood's most iconic actors during the Golden Age, known for his roles in classics like Casablanca and The Maltese Falcon. Beyond his screen persona, Bogart was also notable for his political activism and opposition to the Hollywood blacklist that targeted many in the entertainment industry during the late 1940s and 1950s. Unlike many who feared the repercussions, Bogart publicly spoke out against the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, and its aggressive investigations into alleged communist influences in Hollywood. In 1947, he helped found the Committee for the First Amendment, alongside other actors like Lauren Bacall and John Garfield, to protest WAC's methods and defend freedom of speech. Although his name came under scrutiny due to his progressive political views and associations, Bogart refused to bow to pressure or participate in blacklisting colleagues. He testified before WAC, expressing his belief that the committee's tactics were harmful and unjust. His courage and public opposition made him a rare high-profile figure to challenge the era's climate of fear. Bogart's legacy includes not only his memorable film performances but also his principled stand against censorship and political persecution during one of Hollywood's darkest chapters. Edward G. Robinson, a star tarnished by the blacklist. Edward G. Robinson was a major Hollywood star famous for his tough guy roles in films like Little Caesar and Key Largo. His sharp acting and commanding presence made him a household name during the golden age of Hollywood. However, Robinson's career was significantly affected during the McCarthy-era Red Scare. In the late 1940s, Robinson was called to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC. During his testimony, he admitted to attending communist meetings in his youth but denied ever being a member of the Communist Party. Despite his cooperation and denial, suspicion lingered, and his name appeared in blacklist publications. As a result, Robinson faced a period of unofficial blacklisting. Studios were wary of hiring him, fearing association with alleged subversives. Although he continued acting, the number and prominence of his roles diminished, and he struggled professionally for several years. Despite this setback, Robinson eventually regained some footing in Hollywood, appearing in notable films later in his career. His experience highlights the precarious position many actors faced during the blacklist era, where past associations, however minor, could jeopardize a successful career. Robinson's story is a reminder of the personal and professional toll of political paranoia in mid-20th century America. Paul Robeson, a powerful voice silenced by the blacklist. Paul Robeson was an extraordinary African-American singer, actor, and civil rights activist whose talents and courage made him a global icon during Hollywood's golden age. Known for his rich bass voice and commanding stage presence, Robeson broke barriers in entertainment and used his platform to advocate for racial equality and social justice. However, Robeson's outspoken activism and his alleged ties to communist causes made him a prime target during the McCarthy-era Red Scare. The U.S. government viewed him as a threat, and in 1950, his passport was revoked, effectively barring him from traveling internationally and severely limiting his career opportunities abroad. Robeson was blacklisted from Hollywood and mainstream American entertainment, and his films and recordings were often suppressed or ignored. Despite these obstacles, he continued to speak out against racism, colonialism, and injustice, inspiring generations with his fearless commitment to human rights. Robeson's blacklisting illustrates how political repression extended beyond mere accusations of communism. It was deeply entwined with attempts to silence prominent voices fighting for civil rights. His legacy endures as a testament to resilience and the power of art as activism. Zero Mustelle, blacklisted but unbroken. Zero Mustelle was a vibrant and gifted actor and comedian, best known for his dynamic stage presence and roles in films like The Producers and A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. His larger-than-life personality and fearless performances made him a beloved figure in American theater and film. During the McCarthy era, Mustelle was summoned to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC. Refusing to cooperate or name names, he stood firm in his principles, a choice that came at a steep price. Mustelle was blacklisted, effectively barring him from film and television work for years. The blacklist forced him into a difficult period of unemployment and professional exile. Yet, Mustelle refused to be silenced or sidelined. He returned to the stage, where he rebuilt his career piece by piece. His resilience paid off when he won acclaim for his role in Fiddler on the Roof, which became a defining part of his legacy. Zero Mustelle's story is a powerful example of artistic courage in the face of political persecution. Despite being blacklisted, he remained committed to his craft and principles, ultimately reclaiming his place as one of the great talents of his generation. J Cobb, resilient actor caught in the Hollywood blacklist. J Cobb was a highly respected character actor known for his powerful performances on stage and screen. With memorable roles in classics such as On the Waterfront and 12 Angry Men, Cobb was celebrated for his intensity and depth as an actor. However, his career faced serious challenges during the McCarthy-era Red Scare. Cobb was called before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, due to suspicions about his political beliefs and alleged communist affiliations. During his testimony, Cobb refused to name names or implicate others in the industry, a courageous stance that put him at odds with the prevailing anti-communist sentiment. As a result, he was blacklisted, and many studios hesitated to offer him work. Despite the professional setbacks, Cobb persevered. He found opportunities in theater and eventually returned to film and television as the blacklist began to lose its grip. His resilience and talent allowed him to rebuild a successful career even after being targeted by the blacklist. J Cobb's story reflects the difficult choices faced by many artists during Hollywood's darkest era, highlighting the personal and professional costs of standing by one's principles in the face of political persecution. John Howard Lawson, a leading voice silenced by the Hollywood blacklist. John Howard Lawson was a prominent screenwriter and a key figure among the Hollywood 10, a group of writers and directors who courageously resisted the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, during the late 1940s. Lawson was known for his politically charged scripts and his commitment to leftist ideals, which made him a target during the era's anti-communist witch hunts. In 1947, Lawson was subpoenaed to testify before WAC. Refusing to answer questions about his political affiliations and refusing to name others, he was held in contempt of Congress. This defiant stance led to his imprisonment and subsequent blacklisting by the Hollywood studios. As a result, Lawson was barred from working openly in the American film industry for many years. His career as a screenwriter was effectively destroyed, forcing him to work under pseudonyms or abroad. Despite these hardships, Lawson remained steadfast in his beliefs, symbolizing the broader struggle between artistic freedom and political repression. Lawson's experience is emblematic of the damaging impact the blacklist had on creative voices in Hollywood, highlighting the era's atmosphere of fear and censorship. His legacy endures as a reminder of the cost of standing up for one's principles in a time of widespread political paranoia. Sterling Hayden, a complex figure in Hollywood's blacklist era. Sterling Hayden was a well-known actor famous for his rugged looks and roles in classic films such as The Asphalt Jungle, Johnny Guitar, and Dr. Strangelove. Beyond acting, Hayden was a complex figure with a history of involvement in leftist politics, including past membership in the Communist Party during the 1940s. When the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, began investigating Hollywood, Hayden was called to testify. Unlike many who refused to cooperate, he chose to name names and provided information about others' political affiliations. Despite his cooperation, Hayden's career suffered as suspicion and fear persisted within the industry. His blacklisting wasn't as public or as long-lasting as some others, but he nonetheless struggled professionally, facing reduced opportunities and tainted reputation. Hayden himself later expressed regret over his cooperation with WAC, feeling that the era forced painful compromises and betrayals. Despite these challenges, Hayden continued to act in films and television, eventually rebuilding his career. His story reflects the moral complexities and personal costs of navigating Hollywood during the Red Scare, an era when political paranoia profoundly affected artists and their livelihoods. Lionel Stander, blacklisted actor and Hollywood outcast. Lionel Stander was a versatile and charismatic actor known for his distinctive gravelly voice and memorable supporting roles in films during Hollywood's golden age. Despite a successful career, Stander became one of the many actors caught in the widespread anti-communist hysteria of the late 1940s and 1950s. Accused of having communist sympathies due to his outspoken political beliefs and involvement in labor unions, Stander was blacklisted by the Hollywood studios. His name appeared in Red Channels, a publication that listed supposed communist sympathizers in the entertainment industry, which led to his effective ban from film and television work in the United States. The blacklist destroyed Stander's career in Hollywood, forcing him to seek work in Europe and on the stage for many years. Though he eventually returned to American television decades later, the years of exile took a heavy toll both professionally and personally. Lionel Stander's experience is a stark example of how political paranoia and fear during the McCarthy era silenced talented artists and disrupted countless careers. Despite this, Stander remained committed to his principles, and his later success is a testament to his resilience in overcoming one of Hollywood's darkest periods. Andrae Ravier, acclaimed actress silenced by the blacklist. Andrae Ravier was a respected character actress in Hollywood's golden age, known for her powerful performances in films such as National Velvet and Gentleman's Agreement, for which she won an Academy Award. Her ability to portray strong, empathetic maternal figures earned her critical acclaim and a devoted audience. However, Ravier's career was severely impacted during the McCarthy-era blacklist. In 1947, she was called to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, due to alleged communist affiliations. Refusing to cooperate or name others, she was subsequently blacklisted by the major studios. Following her blacklisting, Ravier's opportunities in film dried up almost entirely. Studios were unwilling to employ her for fear of political backlash, effectively ending her Hollywood career. Though she continued to act on stage, her film appearances became rare. Andrae Ravier's story illustrates the devastating impact of the blacklist on talented artists who stood by their principles. Despite her blacklisting, she remained committed to her craft and her beliefs. Her experience highlights how political paranoia during the Red Scare suppressed dissent and silenced important creative voices in Hollywood. Cliff Robertson, unofficially blacklisted but ultimately triumphant. Cliff Robertson was a talented American actor known for his versatility and dedication to his craft. Despite a promising career in the 1950s and 60s, Robertson faced unofficial blacklisting during the McCarthy-era Red Scare. Although he was never formally named or called before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, suspicion around his political views and associations led to studios hesitating to hire him. This unofficial blacklist limited Robertson's opportunities in Hollywood, causing setbacks in his career during a critical time.